Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now, I'm recording this video actually on Monday night and it's going out live on Tuesday. So apologies if the quality isn't quite there. I'm hoping YouTube gets it sorted out for me in time for this. But I checked the original video I did for today's card. And for some reason, halfway through the video, I lost all the sound. I have no idea what happened. And I'd also actually rethought about the deck a little bit, so I have gone in and changed it. So basically, if you saw the deck list for today's card, which was Tifa Lockhart earlier in the week, I'm sorry for that because it's all changed now, but here we go. So today's video is going to be Tifa Lockhart. 1 and a green for a 1/2 human monk with trample. Has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power until the end of turn. Now, the original deck, when I recorded this, the one that lost all the sound on it, was very much focused on the landfall side of it. But I realised, had an epiphany when I was out walking my dear dog Ida, that I really made a big mistake on it. Actually, I made several mistakes on it, and it did need to be redone. I was actually going to redo it on Friday, but I thought, nope, I've got the time tonight on Monday, so let me redo it now while I'm thinking about it. So this is the updated video where we're going to try and get Tifa to go up to 21 plus power quite quickly and then just go for a win. So here we go. Here's what the updated version of Tifa now looks like. Enjoy. So 23 creatures in the deck, and we're going to start with how they begin. So Spore Assist comes in from the Warhammer 40k decks, has Ravenous, so XX and green, has Defender, which is, okay, that's fine, give a blocker. But when it enters, search your library for X basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So, you've got 3 mana, you get 1 land, 5 mana gets you 2 lands, 7 mana gets you 3 land, etc, 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 etc. Hopefully at some stage we might even get X up to 5 or more and just have a really big blocker and get the card draw off the Ravenous ability, but we'll see. Bristling bills here because we do need to pump up, there you go, where am I going? That way, there you go. Do need to pump up Tifa's toughness because Tifa's ability when the landfall triggers really only triggers the power. You double the power, you don't double the toughness. So anything that's a 2/2, well, a 2x or 2 plus X, first striker just deals with Tifa and you can't get around it. So bristling bills here, landfall, get the extra +1/+1 counters on Tifa with the lands we're dropping and then go from there. Steve's in because we want a nice easy way of getting lands into the play. And then we have a lot of the cards that let us play additional lands. So Azusa, Lost But Seeking's in. The Course for Crew Fix is here, gives us a little bit of life and we can play the lands off top of our library if we need to. The Dryad of the Ishling Grove, although we're only playing a mono green deck, I'm very aware of that, does let us drop an extra land each turn, so it makes the cut. Likewise, Farhaven Elf goes and finds us a forest and puts it into play. Loot Exuberant Explorer has double duty. Yes, we need to play the additional lands, that's fine. And then at some stage, hopefully we can do the 6 and pay for a creature to come into play that way. So we have got some other win conditions in the deck. Springbloom Druid is just fun. 3 mana, sack a land, go and get 2 basics lands into play. If you've got Tifa in just as a basic, that puts Tifa's power that turn up to 4. So it's a starting point. Wayward Sawtooth lets us drop additional lands and eventually go in for the attacking when we hit the magical number of Ascend 10 permanents. Wood Elves goes and fetches the forest, and Yavimar Elder, when it dies, we go and get 2 basic land cards and put them in our hand. With the additional ways we've got of dropping lands in this deck, that should be okay. Oracle of Muldai is also in. Additional land drops, play with the top card of your library, play lands from the top. Solemn Sim goes and gets us a land when we play the card, obviously, and then when it dies, we get a card draw. World Shaper is a lot of fun. We attack, we mill the top 3 cards of our library, and then basically, when it dies, we put all the land cards we've got in our library back into the battlefield. The Bloomvine region is also in as well. Search your library for 2 basic forests. 1 goes into hand, 1 goes into battlefield tapped, and then if we need to, we can play it as a 4/5 flyer at some stage and gain 3 life if it comes to that. Bralius of the Ferrous Band also makes an appearance. When it attacks, we draw a card and gets put in a land card from our hand onto the battlefield, which helps the landfall trigger for Tifa. Overlord of the Hauntwoods, we all know what it does by now. The Everywhere lands will come in. They will trigger Tifa. So, yay, more landfall. Ancient Greenwood Guardian, we have a lot of ways of getting lands into our graveyard. You'll see the ways in a minute for the updated deck list, because I'll be honest, I forgot a lot about the sack lands, which was really bad of me. So yeah, they're back. And Lumara, Bellow of the Woods, is also here. This is a great one with Tifa's in play. When it enters, you mill 4 cards and we get to return all land cards from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped, which will probably trigger Tifa quite a lot to get there. We've got a couple of the traditional landfall creatures, so Rampaging Baloth is here along with the Avenger of Zendikar. And then the Overworld Hydra, XX, power and toughness equal number of lands we control, has reach. And when it comes into battlefield, we go and find a land card, put it onto battlefield top, then shuffle our library. So they're the 23 creatures in the deck. Not many for one of my decks, but you know, it's all about Tifa. So thinking about that side, we want to make sure we're getting lands. So we've got Bushwhack, Glimpse of Core, Rampant Growth, 3 visits. Cultivate. Temple Discovery is always fun. People who are behind do tend to pay the extra mana. Go and find the land card if they need it, so that kind of helps. The Will of the Sultai comes in from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Target player mills 3 cards and return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And then if we've got Tifa in play, we get to put a whole load of +1/+1 counters on her. Yeah, which really does help with her triggering her power doubling abilities with the landfall. Titania's Command lets us go and find 2 land cards put onto battlefield tapped, and we get a couple of bear blockers. Verdant Confluence just goes and finds us basically 3 lands for 6 mana, which I'm happy about. If push comes to shove, we can use the +1/+1 counter bit as well to have 2 +1/+1 counters on Tifa, then go and find 2 more lands, but just be careful. Instance, this is where it gets fun. This is what I really did miss out of the first deck. So we've got Aspect of the Hydra to kick it off. Target creature gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is a devotion to green. So this makes Tifa big. Now, what I'm going to say is if you've got these instances in play and Tifa hasn't got Summoning Sickness, play the instance first before you drop your lands, so you get the bonus of the power and toughness boost from the spells that are coming up, and then the land drops, you double the power. It gets very good with Tifa, believe me now. To that end, For the Family is also in, +2/+2. We've got 4 more creatures, +4/+4 instead. The very traditional Giant Growth had to make an appearance. Gift of the Viper is a bit of fun. Put a +1/+1 counter, but then it gives a reach counter and a death touch counter as well. So with Trample on Tifa, this makes Tifa really difficult for anyone to block, because you just assign 1 point of damage to each creature, because death touch will kill them, and then anything else you just get to trample over for and still get your commander damage in. So yay. Tifa's Last Stand also makes an appearance. +X/+X and gains hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. So that's nice. And then drop a land and make her even bigger. Aim High, untap target creature, +2/+2 and gains reach until the end of turn. Fanatical Strength is just +3/+3 basically for 1 and a green. The trample's irrelevant with Tifa because she's got it. Heroic Intervention to keep everything going on the board. And Entis Restoration, 3 mana to go and sacrifice a land, go and find 2 more lands. But if we manage to get Tifa up to 4 power or greater, we get to get 3 basic lands and put them into play, which just makes Tifa stupid. Harrow's also in for the same reason. And then finally, for the instant side of things, Might of Oaks makes an appearance. 4 mana to give something +7/+7 until the end of turn. Makes getting Tifa up to that 21+ power level for the instant kill with the commander damage really quite easy. We have a few artifacts to help us out and get there. Elixir of Immortality, because we do want to shuffle everything back in when it goes pear-shaped. Lava Spur Boots gives Tifa a little bit of protection. The Armorelli Sphere, when we pay this off, we go and get 2 basic land cards, and we can do that at any speed, so that helps get Tifa going. Howling Mine just keeps giving us some card draw, so we keep building up the cards in our hand. Then the Lightning Greaves and the Boots are here to protect Tifa, and then the Trailblazer Boots are even better, because how many people do you know who don't play non-basic lands in their commander decks nowadays? Yeah, non-basic land walk. Here we go. I'm just going to hit you over the head with Tifa for 21 damage. Enjoy. The Bow and Nylea gives everything death touch. Again, a little bit of bonus with Tifa and some of the other things we'll be putting into play. And finally, the Lumbering World Wagon. Vehicle's power is equal to the number of lands we control. When it enters or attacks, search our library with basic land card, put it into play tapped. Yes, the crew of 4 is quite difficult unless you've managed to, you know, get a couple of beasties in play off our Rampaging Baloths. But same point of view is that it still does go and fetch as a basic land. 3 mana, another land. That's fine. Even we never attack with it, it's fine by me. Notice, because of all the ramp we're playing, I've ignored Sol Ring for this deck. I've ignored Signets. I decided we didn't need it with the amount of land searching out and getting we should be doing. So we should be okay without them. But if you want to include them, yeah. Howling Mind's probably the easiest one to drop out if you want to play Sol Ring. But we're not going to bother today for this deck, which is unusual, I know, for me. Enchantments, Exploration for the additional land drops each turn. Druid class to gain some life and then play an additional land once we get up to level 2. And then the Lion Umbra comes in from Modern Horizons 3, I think. Double green, enchanted modified creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has vigilance and reach. So you've got to get a +1/+1 counter on Tifa. But once you do, that permanent boost is really good. Sylvan Anthem makes an appearance as well. Green creatures get +1/+1. And whenever the green creature enters the battlefield under your control, we get to scry 1. Beastmaster Ascension will be attacking. This just gives us a permanent +5/+5 to Tifa once we can get up to the 7 counters on the quest. Rites of Flourishing just lets us draw an additional card and play an additional land. Yes, it benefits everyone else, but it's more beneficial to us. Bear Umbra, the other Umbra. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Whenever it attacks, you get to untap all of your lands. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. The Mending and Dominaria just lets us bring a creature card back for the first couple of turns, and then when we get to Chapter 3, assuming it hasn't been disenchanted by that stage, we get to bring back all of our land cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. So, yay, we'll do that. And then Zendika's Royal Landfall, get a 2/2 green elemental creature token. Yay. Lands is where I've really changed around if you looked at the deck earlier. Still got 38 lands, so up on my usual count, but Blighted Woodlands here, Broker's Hideout, Cabaretti Courtyard, they're all in. All the search lands that come in and find a forest automatically are here now. There's 29 basics in the deck, and then we've got one of each of the sack lands, pay 1 life lands, to go and find forests. They're all here. And then Myriad Landscape makes perfect sense to put it into play tapped, and then sack it off to go and get 2 basic lands. The rest of them, Riveteer's Outlook for the life gain, Verdant Catacombs, Windswept Heaths, and Wooded Foothills. So we have a lot of ways still to trigger that lovely landfall of Tifa. And that's it for today's deck. I think Tifa's still great. I think there's still a lot of things I haven't looked at. I suspect it'll be a card I come back to at some stage in the future. But yeah, I think you can probably work out maybe some better ways of doing the landfall things. But if you can, let me know in the comments down below. Please, if you haven't been here before, hit the subscribe button, help me out. There's 680 of you now here subscribed to the YouTube channel, which I'm very grateful for, so thank you. But the more the merrier, so if you can hit the button, I'd really appreciate it. Share the video, hit the like button, leave a comment. It all helps with the lovely YouTube algorithm and helps me get some more people looking at the cards. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with another deck, so I will see you very soon. Have a good one. Bye.